And then we also have a big Jamaican population out there too, so it's kind of ingrained in the culture. Album by the Mussolini, I forgot the name of it.
Shout out to the DMV.
I actually have always been like a super heavy music listener. I never really got to actually creating any content or DJing and stuff like that.
All right, what's poppin' posse? Welcome back to Hippie Life, man. If you don't know, you probably won't know. I go by the name of DJ Deuce Bigelow, man. We back here with another In the Crate. This time we're here in the hometown, man, at 12's Wax, you know what I'm saying? Honored to be here, very happy. This is one of the dopest stores in the town, you know what I mean? So if you haven't been there, check it out. Here with a very, very dope guest, you know what I'm saying? This is one of the 12's Wax own, you know what I mean? If you come here, you're gonna see him spinning, you know what I mean? All throughout the city. This is DJ Jfent, you know what I'm saying? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good.
Yes, sir, man. Definitely honored to have you on here, man. You've been on my list. I've been watching your Instagram, you know what I mean? I follow you. I like that. Just starting off real quick, I'm gonna give you your praises. I like that you actually take the time to spend on actual vinyl, you know what I mean? Like, no, you're good. You're good. Yeah, you're good. All right. Yes, sir. Yeah, so like I was saying, I like that you spend on actual vinyl, you know what I mean? And like, real quick, I just want to talk about that. Like, what made you want to take that route?
Honestly, cause I'm originally from Maryland. That's gonna be a later question.
Okay.
But when I got out here, this was one of the first places I ended up popping up because the guy that owns it, Roy, is my cousin. So,
Okay, tight.
you know, I popped up over here, and I just kind of pop up every now and then and pull some records, buy some stuff every now and then, but I hadn't really started DJing anything like that. And then one day they was just like, hey, yo, hop on. I was like, all right, cool. And all they really had set up was vinyl with the Serato to the computer. So I was from jump, I was on vinyl, and it's just the most comfortable for me, honestly. It's just, especially the mixer they have over there, I think it's called the S11 or something like that.
Right.
It's like my favorite thing to use. It's really comfortable for me because it's where I started. So whenever I want to come in and kind of try some stuff, or, you know, I want to not necessarily just see how something sounds out loud, but see how it feels to play it.
Right.
I usually come back here and kind of mess around with it. And then from there, once I got all my cue points and stuff set and I'm kind of comfortable with it, I can play it anywhere. But that's how I feel. The vinyl is just, it's home for me, for real.
That's right. I feel that, bro. Like for me, it was like opposite. Like I started off on like controllers, and then I started messing with vinyl earlier, and it's like the only thing is like I never got to. I worked with like a S9 one time, and I was like, this is nice, you know what I mean? But I've always worked on like, I think I have like a basic like Newmark mixer, so it's like I never felt comfortable on there. So it's like every time I see a DJ that's really like comfortable on vinyl, I'm like I salute it, you know what I mean? 'Cause I know how difficult that really is, you know what I mean? But real quick, jumping back into the actual introductions, man. So tell people where exactly are you from, you know what I mean? And like who you are, what do you do, you know what I mean? Yep.
So I'm from PG County, Maryland.
Okay. Shout out to the DMV.
I actually have always been like a super heavy music listener. I never really got to actually creating any content or DJing and stuff like that. But funnily enough, my uncle and my father both DJed when I was younger, so I'm used to like, you know, having to go places and set up equipment and stuff like that. And I may, you know, hit start or stop on the song, you know, while they go to the bathroom or something like that. But no real DJing experience, but I've always been around it. And so when I moved out here back in like 2021, you know, got kind of introduced to it, and it was like, hey, step on. That was when I like really got into the whole DJing thing. But yeah, from the East Coast. Born and raised, lived there till I was about 20 years old, something like that. I went to college out there, all that.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But yeah, man, if you ever want to go somewhere, but you know, just want to see beautiful women and you know, have some fun in the nightlife and stuff like that, for sure, probably the DC is amazing.
Oh yeah, I ain't gonna lie, that's one spot that's definitely high on my list, bro. Like my family always told me like, you know, that's Chocolate City, you know what I mean? Like it's for us, but you know what I mean? So I'm like, I gotta pop out there one day. But I was gonna say, so what made you wanna like come to Cali? Like it was just like, oh, I gotta get somewhere different. I got family out here.
I mean, I've always kind of, you know, flirted with the idea of moving out here to the West or something like that, or at least spending a decent amount of time out here.
Right.
But really it was for work. I had randomly got a job offer for a company out here, and, you know, it's working remote and stuff like that. So I was like, for sure. So I just popped out immediately. So that's how I got out here, and this has been gravy ever since, bro.
Yeah, bro, that's what's up. Yeah, you can't refuse an offer like that. Hell nah. Yeah, that's what's up, man. So you said you came out here. start messing around at the shop, and then you start picking up the DJing gear. So, like, I want to go back a little bit to the earlier upbringing, like when you were a kid, you know what I mean, growing up in the DMV. What's some of the songs or like some of the music you just remember hearing, like your grandparents or your moms or your uncles, you know what I mean, just people around you will be playing, like your car will drive by and like, you know, you just notice like what's the earlier music that influenced you?
So when I was really, really young, when we talking like 4 or 5, my parents, they went to college in that 90s era, and so they're really like reggae heavy, stuff like that. My dad's pretty decent in the hip hop, but not as hard, not as heavy. But that's kind of what I grew up hearing for the most part. If like they play somewhere when we're around the house and my mom's frying plantains and she swears she West Indian, but I don't know about it. But she's frying plantains and stuff, and it's just that kind of energy. And then we also have a big Jamaican population out there too, so it's kind of ingrained in the culture. But outside of that, at that same time, especially like late nights, coming home from my grandparents' house on Sunday because we all went to the same church. Coming home from basically a mini family reunion and listening to the Quiet Storm on the radio, which was like a R&B station that'd come on at like maybe 9:30, 10 o'clock at night.
Right.
And they come to do sing Quiet Storm, right? And then they play a bunch of old R&B, old soul stuff. So a lot of what's his name? A lot of Barry White on there, a lot of Luther, that type of vibe. So that's kind of what I grew up on. R. Kelly before
before the allegations,
we got to where we are now. But like
allegations for it,
right.
Bad, yeah.
So just like those artists on there, it was real chill, real cool. And then as I got older, I kind of started getting into more like hip hop stuff. I missed a lot of the early 2000s, the mid 2000s hip hop stuff, by late 2000s.
Like the 50 Cents and that era.
Right.
Okay.
But once we get into the late 2000s, where you get stuff like Travis Porter and Lil Wayne's blowing up and Drake and all that, that's kind of when I started to listen to that type of music. So that was kind of my introduction into hip hop really before I started really going back. I hear my dad play whatever. I hear some ODB and some Wu-Tang and some Big and Pac here and there. I know what it is, but when I really started getting into it myself was around that era. And that was cool, man. Growing up on Gucci and stuff like that, and the whole Waka Flocka era and all that stuff. Like that was cool. That was big stuff.
People don't talk about that run. He had a crazy run, bro. That whole like Brick Squad, 1017, like they were going crazy. Yeah.
No Hands go crazy.
Yeah, the still banger. Yeah.
Still a banger.
Yeah, no cap.
That's kind of the era I kind of grew up in, and past that, once I get to middle school, it's more like Chief Keef is just coming out. So we go down that whole Chicago drill wave, and it's just we listen to Dirk and what's his name? I think he passed recently. Fredo Santana, I think.
Oh yeah.
Montana 300, like that whole era, SD, like that whole group. And that was a fun era, man. We had on the East Coast, we had like Shy Glizzy and Fat Trail coming up in that era. So
they are from the DMV, huh?
Right, yeah. It's another artist called named Big Flock that was coming up in that era. He kind of couldn't get out of jail for real. He was kind of in and out, but when he was dropping, he was also another one of them names that was kind of like holding us.
Yeah.
So that whole era, like middle school, like it's that 2012, 2013 era, that was crazy. And then kind of in the high school, I transitioned into more like conscious rap, I guess you could say, quote unquote conscious rap. That's the era when the Kendrick Lamars of the world are coming out and Drake is getting into his Nothing Was the Same bag and stuff like that.
Cole coming
through in 2014. So it's like, then we transitioned into that, and that's when I kind of really got like my deep love, my heavy interest for hip hop. Like that's when I really started deep diving into this stuff.
I feel that.
And that was cool, man. We used to, DMV again, Logic was there. Logic was popping. Not crazy, but he was popping for sure.
Like I always say early Logic, he was in the bag. You know what I mean? I feel like he had a moment where he kind of sold out. You know what I mean? He went like a little more commercial, but early stuff, like he was definitely lyrical. Like he was spitting. You know what I mean?
And then like another side of that also was kind of Tyler the Creator at that time, especially early high school, like
for sure.
That whole Future wave too, which I know it was super big out here, but for us, it was reaching even to us. Like that was big for me. Tyler Creator was probably one of my favorite artists for a long time. Into my like late teens, early 20s, like he was one of my favorite artists. But you know, that's kind of what I grew up on through, you know, high school and the past. And I think we all had similar kind of experiences with the Drake.
Like I relate to like a lot of stuff you said, because like I always say, like I feel like even being out here, like we were still influenced by like the Southern and the East Coast sound, you know what I mean? So it's like there was a big moment in my life where I'll probably listen to nothing but like D4L and like, you know, this whole bunch of Southern stuff. And then like I'm listening to like when J. Cole's coming out, like I'm on it. Like I remember when he dropped Who's That? And I was like, bro, this is the most amazing thing ever. And I was just started hopping onto everything East Coast and DMV and stuff like that, you know what I mean? You know, he's from North Carolina, but it's like, you know what I mean? Just that whole, it put the spotlight on that Southern East Coast to me, you know what I mean? So like,
Oh, for sure, man. We used to come out to football games to do that.
bro, that was a banger. That video is still crazy to me, bro. But I was gonna say, so moving on, you already got to like the high school stuff. So like now it's like, do you feel like your music taste has changed from like, I'll say like from high school to now? Like, you know what I mean? Is it still, do you feel like it's still kind of conscious rap heavy or?
Actually, it's funny. It feels like a regression, but it's went from conscious rap to drug rap, basically.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's how the game kind of went too.
Yeah,
but
no cap.
I guess coming out of college, coming out of high school, and that whole like J. Cole era, then we get into like Playboy Cardi starting to come up, and
crazy,
Uzi is kind of right at the end of high school, and so we started getting hit with all that Lil Yachty and them. And so I'm kind of starting to go that way. We still keep up with the Kendrick Lamar's. They drop stuff like Damn, or when Cole is dropping the Jane with ATM and Kevin's Heart. I can't remember. That's more college, but like
I think that's like, was that KOD?
KOD. Yep. So like getting into that type of music and those sounds, and that was cool, man. And especially, you know, to see the dichotomy of what hip hop was already splitting into, and to see how diverse it was about to get when you're seeing like Lil Uzi Vert and Playboy Cardi and Lil Yachty popping up doing their thing, and that's still hip hop at the time.
You got
And
Isaiah Rashad.
right, and then you got the whole Isaiah Rashad and Schoolboy Q's dropping Blank Face, and you getting hit with all these projects.
That was a good era.
So that was a crazy era, man. And then of course Drake and Future just, you know, tag team to do their thing throughout that whole time and kind of dominate the era. But like that was kind of the experience at that point, that, you know, seeing how diverse in the duality of rap as a genre and hip hop. And just going from there, you know, it kind of gets into more like Mick Jenkins. I'm in college, early college, Mick Jenkins, KOD. Isaiah Rashad was on repeat, and Schoolboy Q with Blank Face. Those were on repeat throughout that whole era. And Crash Talk was such a letdown for me, I'm not gonna lie. Crash Talk threw me. I was not happy with that album, but like that was kind of their era for me, where I wasn't listening to as much new stuff. I'm listening to a lot of like just going and repeating those albums and really, you know, studying them. Smino and Saba started to come into that era too for me. Oh man, Care For Me Dude.
Yeah.
Care For Me Dude. I literally, first time I was in my college dorm crying listening to that.
Yeah, I'm like, first time I heard Smino, I was like, what? Like, I didn't know where he was from. Like, his sound was just something completely different to me. Like, I felt like that, like, probably a couple times. It was like with, Yachty, with Smino, and like, I don't know, like, but like, yeah, those are definitely two people I was like, bro, I remember when I first time hearing One Night by Lil Yachty, I'm like, bro, what? Like, this is the weirdest, yeah. But he said, but you can tell this is hip hop. It's like Tyler Creator, like when you hear Yonkers, you know what I mean? It's like, like this is hip hop, but it's like, what are you talking about, bro? What are you saying? And I feel like there's just like those type of people, bro, like really can, they just knew how to capture that time era, that's essence. Even A$AP Rocky did it, you know what I mean? Like when he was dropping like that pesos and stuff like that, like he really captured that time period, you know what I mean?
And that's like that era for me, like, and then Travis Scott of course in that era too. But it was like from there we go into COVID and people aren't really, they're dropping, but it's not the same. Like some of them it's like fast food music. Some people like, I'm just not dropping in this era. Like it's real weird for music. And then coming out of that, it's like, all right, well, I graduated college in COVID. it's time to get a job. And so like my focus is changing, and I'm still in this era. I've been listening to the same few albums for like 2-3 years now. Something new drops every now and then, but it's like the same stuff over and over.
What you want for real, so you go
Right.
make your own stuff.
And this is like right around the time when West Side Gun drops Hitler's 8. Hitler's 8, and I think Bo Jackson dropped around this time by Boldy James. And prior to that, Isaiah Rashad dropped his album. I may have those flipped, but right around that era is when I started bumping like Alfredo heavy. And I started digging into like the Tana Talk stuff with Benny the Butcher, and getting real heavy into the Griselda stuff. And starting to go through Boldy and then Alchemist, and going through that whole journey. I mean, I probably should have mentioned this first, like,
No, yeah.
and he's like a big part of my journey, but Joey Badass is like my favorite rapper to this day.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily just because of the music he creates, but what he represents.
Yeah.
Like, for me, that's around that era when I'm just starting to pick back up rap again. And he's dropping, 1999 and Before the Badass and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, this is crazy. I'm seeing a modern version of that classic New York hip hop. Like, it was
our, like I was just talking about this to the homie, it's our version of the golden era, bro. It's our renaissance, bro. It's like we didn't get to, like, say, we grew up with, like, Kanye West's 50 Cent, stuff like that, the Gucci Manes, you know what I mean? But we didn't really experience that real gritty hip hop, you know what I mean? And then we get Joey Badass, and like, oh, this is what my pops and them felt like when they heard Nas and Jay-Z and them spit, you know what I mean? Like, that's how I felt, at least, you know what I mean? So then, like you said, like, it just made you want to, like, for me, it made me want to go back and just dive into it and find different artists that like that. So I agree. I 100% agree with you.
Like, Joey being my favorite artist, being a part of that era when I really started to get into like that conscious rap bag, segueing into the drug rap later in life, and kind of hearing all these same dudes, Joey Badass was hop on a feature with these guys, and they're mingling with that industry just on a different subject matter, and it's kind of like for me, it's like eye-opening to, all right, you understood what hip-hop was, and, you had, what you liked and what you didn't like, but now you're starting to understand how these dudes really put a verse together, and, how they decide what subject matter and how to express that subject matter in a way that, even if it is super-duper, heavy subject matter and real, like, it could get violent and gory and almost ignorant in a way, it's still, like, you see how the song structure and the verse structure and how you express the subject matter and things like that, how those play into, how skilled and talented a rapper really is.
Yeah, that's like my favorite part of rap is like poetry or like a storytelling in a sense, you know what I mean? It's like, how can you use your words to convey what, like, you know what I mean, like you said, like that topic or whatever you're trying to talk about, you know what I mean, in the most creative or, authentic way. And like, to me, that's like, it's amazing when an artist can do it, you know what I mean, in like those astonishing ways, you know what I'm saying?
That was like eye-opening for me, and I've basically been in that same drug rap wave for a while now, just kind of digging into it and hearing what the guys from Detroit are doing with it.
Yeah.
Or, some dudes back home, like some local dudes from Delaware, Rush and Jay Nice and all of them, and Big Chico, they be going crazy, man. I seen you some stuff out there, they be going crazy, but like, just how all the different regions are kind of tackling this, how the West Coast has started to kind of tackle it a little bit. Seeing Currency team up with like DJ Fresh and, start the whole luxury rap thing. And then you see kind of with those dudes from Delaware I was talking about, you see them kind of merge the whole drug rap and luxury thing. Like it's been a great time for hip hop, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. It's like I said, I liked how it's like every region is like just taking their tackle of anything, you know what I mean? Like you might hear something of like that's heavily, like you said, that Bay Area, that luxury rap type vibe, you know what I mean? But it's coming from the South, it's coming from the East Coast, and it's like you hear the reminiscences of it, but it's like you said, they got their whole own style, they got their own lingo, you know what I mean? Like, dang, I forgot what his song is, bro. There's this one dude, he's like rapping on like, what someone would call a Larry June type beat, but he's using I think he's from like Jersey or somewhere like that. So he's using all of their lingo, you know what I mean? And I'm like, bro, this is hard, you know what I mean? it's like, this is like, it sounds like it, but it's something totally different. It's his own style, you know what I mean? Yeah, I like that. I agree. I was gonna say, so right now, who would be like your favorite artist? Like,
That's a tough one. And I mean, honestly, favorite artist right now. I can't really give you a favorite. I say the person I'm probably listening to the most consistently off what they've been dropping, it's probably Currency. And you know, some people be like, Currency, your favorite out of everybody, but right now, just what they've been dropping, bro, how it's been coming through, how it's been hitting me specifically. Like I've been listening to a lot of Currency, and it's
me since like 2013, bro. I like Currency's been someone that's like nonstop. Like ever since he remember Audio Dope, when he started doing those runs, bro, he's been on the hits after hits ever since in my eyes. You know what I mean? I'm like, he hasn't missed. So it's like, yeah, I respect that 100%. You know what I mean? Like you said, when you talk about quality, for sure. I was gonna say, so like growing up, you talk about your upbringing a little bit more. Did you play any like musical instruments or have like any type of musical background?
honestly not. Like I said, outside of going with my dad or my uncle to a DJ gig to help them set up and maybe hop on to start a song or something like that while they in the bathroom. Like music was just a hobby for me. It was something that I'll go listen to some albums or something like that. I'll go listen to some music. That was kind of who I was. It was a background thing to everything else I was doing in my life. Like I was a athlete growing up.
Okay,
like I played football.
Yeah.
I wrestled. I ran track. So it was like that was where my focus was. I didn't really get to truly start even focusing in on like music as a hobby till high school. When you kind of have your own phone and headphones and stuff like that, and you kind of can actually do that. But I've never learned any instruments, never touched any. I've never produced anything like that. Like it was literally, it went from music fan to like hop on these turntables for me. So that's kind of been my experience.
Like I be telling like, cause like, I'm sure you got this a lot. Like I got a lot of homies that come to, oh bro, I want to learn how to DJ, and I'm like, bro, like some of the homies I'll be like, I don't know, but some homies I'm like, bro, you will be great because you're a fan of music, like you love music, and that's really all it is. Like to be a great DJ, you just gotta love music, bro. Like be able to be willing to dive into all these different rabbit holes and find the best of the best or whatever you consider the best of the best. You know what I mean? And play it to the people, bro. That's what DJing is for real. You know what I'm saying? And then you got everybody got their own little swag and techniques and stuff, but at the end of the day, bro, we're just trying to display what we think is, oh, this is a dope song, you have to hear this. You know what I mean? This is gonna make you dance, you gotta hear this, you know what I mean? And that's being a fan of music, bro. So it makes, like, your progression makes sense, you know what I mean? I was gonna say, so like going into like the vinyl records, you already talked about like how you got onto like the turntables and stuff like that, but now when you are like, say you're digging for a record, right? What draws you to a record? Like what makes you even want to pick it up, look at it? Is it like the name? Is it the cover or what?
So for me, it's usually gonna be the cover. And it's weird because they don't really correlate, but like I feel like it's like a 70%. If you see a cover that you're super interested in,
right,
you'll probably find at least 2 songs in there that you're like, I like this. And it's just because, it's like an artistic sense thing, I guess you could say, that kind of crosses all the genres. Like if I see something visual art that's like something I can relate to, or if I'm looking at it I'm like, well, I get that reference or something like that,
right.
The actual music is probably going to have something similar based on where I'm like, I caught that.
I never thought about it like that, but that makes so much sense.
Yeah, that's how I look at the like going through vinyl. If there's something I don't see any names I know, like I don't, nothing in here, this is a whole completely different genre. If it draws me, it's probably gonna be decent.
Yeah.
Outside of that, there's always certain artists where, like, if I'm going through the jazz section, I'm looking for Ramsey Lewis. I'm looking for, in the soul R&B section, Luther or Barry White, because those are people that I know either have a sound or a voice that I like. I'm usually always going, like, if they have a bad song, it's usually not because of them, it's because the beat or the production or something doesn't really vibe with me. But their voices are usually going to be solid on that track. Biggie, 50 Cent, other dudes that, they're just
classics type stuff.
Right. And then outside of that, it's usually random. It's usually gonna be like, well, I know if I dig through this jazz genre, it's jazz. I'm gonna find something, even if it's at the random.
Okay, that's how I am too.
I'm gonna find something. So those are kind of like, that's the tiers to how I kind of pick my vinyl right now.
So like, this is like more like a question for me. Like, when you're chopping, do you like put like a bunch of records to the side and then go listen to it, or do you like pick one by one and like, I'm gonna listen to this, I'm gonna come back to the stack afterwards, whoop, whoop, like?
You know, usually if I'm in here shopping, or at least here specifically, I'm probably working the store anyway. Right. So I'll pop the album off for the whole store.
Right.
Like I'll, you know, pull something like, this look cool, throw it on, sit there and listen to it for the next 45 minutes. And, you know, if I do actually have to shop, you know, I can't throw it on the store. Like I got to use a listening station. I'll probably stack like 4 or 5 up.
Okay, yeah.
And usually it's maybe a 20 to 30 second bang through for each song. If I'm listening to it and it's not even starting out, I'll wait till the beat drops. That's usually gonna take 30. After that, if it's good, I'll keep going. You know, find something great. If it's bad, I'll keep going. But you know, hesitant. Once I get to like 2, 3 collective bad songs, I usually flip it, check the other side, and be done. But if I'm pulling like, you know, 2 or 3 good songs back to back, I'm feeling good about this. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna find something great on here sooner or later. And I usually use, and I do this with streaming too. Like if I go listen to my album, basically I need 50% likes on your album. And a like for me is like at least a good, it's something I can repeat again.
Yeah.
And so if I ain't get to 50%, that wasn't a good album. And 50% is just the good. Once you go past that, 70 is when you get to, this is solid.
That's not, okay, I really like it.
Right.
It's not back, yeah.
And so that's kind of how I do with the vinyl, only in like a 30-second, you know, 15 seconds in the intro maybe, let the beat drop, hear what you want, hear what your subject matter is, it's all right, keep going. And that's how I kind of do it. And I'll do that for like 4 or 5 different albums back to back. Just get a feel for them. And that's usually how I'll find 1 or 2 things out of that 5.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so like, when you're listening, are you thinking of like a DJ gig or like playing it and like for a crowd, or are you thinking more of like, oh, I just really like this song, I want to listen to this song, you know what I mean? Or it's like a mix?
It's usually a mix. If I throw something on and I hear, because sometimes I pick stuff up, just be like, oh, if I ever want to produce, this would be a cool sample, let me grab that. I got a bunch of those. And so it's usually something like that. If it's not, I'll pick it up because it's like some super fast disco stuff, and I'm like, I could DJ this. Like I could throw this on for some people, maybe switch up the drums in the background, it'd go crazy. So let me grab this and see what I can do with it if I do like a Serrato vinyl set or something like that. But it's either those two, or if it's genuinely something I like, whether it's like, I saw the cover art, I want to put this on my wall and I listen to it.
Yeah. I do that all the time, bro. Like, I buy so many albums just because, like, bro, you know what? I didn't find no hits on it, but this album cover is just too nice. I need it. Yeah. I was gonna say, do you have a favorite record in your collection? Like your prized possession, like you go home and it's like, bro, like this better be here when I get back. You know what I mean?
Actually, my favorite one right now, it's an album by the Mussolini. I forgot the name of it, but it's him and Cookin' Soul, their last collab album.
That's fire.
I got the vinyl. I was mid listen. I was like maybe 7, 8 songs, and I was like, yo, let me go buy this right now. And I think they hadn't even dropped yet, so I had to wait a few days and then go grab it whenever it dropped. But like, I brought it immediately, basically. It came in, cover art is dope as hell. Actual vinyl's dope as hell. Like that's one that I got. I was like, I'm gonna keep this even if nobody knows what this is. Yeah. This is some cool shit.
Ones, yeah.
So that one, and then I have Wolf with the.
All right, man. So, real quick, I wanted to ask, what was the last vinyl that you bought?
All right. So, actually, it's 1999 by Prince. I actually just purchased it today, like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, I know. Like when I saw you walk in, and you instantly like went straight to it. I was like, bro, he must have had that tucked off or something.
Yeah, I low-key had him order from special orders. Like.
Okay, that's tight. Hell yeah, bro. What's the significance of that album? Is it just like something you need, like you've been having on your list, or what?
Yeah, honestly, I don't have any Prince. I've been doing a lot of like 70s, 80s vinyl a lot, especially going through like the jazz section, the soul section. So I was scrolling, I was writing lists actually, and I walked in a few days ago, and the owner was in here, and I was like, he asked me actually, he was like, "You got anything you want us to order?" I was like, anything on this list, like, and he was able to grab $19.99 for me, so I had to pick it up.
I was gonna say, like, so how do you feel like vinyl is an important part of, I would say, the listening experience, you know what I mean? Like, just physical media in general, like vinyl, CDs, cassettes, like, you know what I mean? You feel like it's something that, like, is an important way to listen, or do you feel like you can get the same thing just from going on Spotify?
Well, I mean, yeah, you can get the same thing, quote unquote. You can get the songs released. You can, the beauty of streaming, in my opinion, is your ability to listen to that music almost anywhere, anytime. It's so mobile. Like, I can be anywhere. If I got an internet connection, I can listen to this song, and any song almost.
Right.
So that's kind of the big, like, draw of the whole streaming music thing. But as far as like quality goes and ownership and things like that, like physical media will always be king.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, the safest way to record something and know it's going to be here, not forever, but for as long as possible, have a physical copy of it. I mean, it's the best way to do it. Of course, it'll exist as long as the internet exists, but what happens when it doesn't? Just as, on some conspiracy theory stuff, not even on like something that's actually going to happen, but I feel like that's always the safest way to do it. And then beyond that, like support your artists, dude. Like streaming artists do not make money off streaming. Trust me. That's why so many artists are starting to now have to like perform, and people want to go to these performances and these tours is because people are reaching and grasping for something that's live and real, and it's for real actual talent. And so it's like, it's always like that physical media is always going to be something that's going to support your artists and say, hey, like, here's a little money in your pocket.
I feel like on that note, that's why it's been like kind of like a resurgence for vinyl lately. Like, you've been seeing a lot of artists dropping vinyl records, you know what I mean? And like that, a couple years ago, that was unheard of. It was not a thing. They were not dropping vinyl records. They weren't like putting any type of physical media out. But now you see like I see like Jay Worthy does it a lot. You know what I mean? Tyler, the Creator, just dropped one. I've been seeing like, I think Steve Lacy drops vinyls. I'm like, bro, I've been seeing like a lot of like bigger artists dropping vinyl records, making sure they put out that physical media along with their merch and along with all this stuff. You know what I mean? Because it is honestly the best way for them to get that support, get that money, you know what I mean? And I feel like that's like, I wasn't even thinking about that, but that is a great reason, another reason why it's very important, you know what I mean? Not only like just so it can stand the time with that time to tell, you know what I mean? Like certain music is like, you can't get it on digital, you know what I mean? You have to come dig for it, and like it has to be passed down, you know what I mean? So it's like, I feel like that, like another reason why it's like just crazy important.
That's crazy, because it's so much stuff that I found even in here that I was like, well, let me listen to this song in my headphones while I'm here instead of going to the listening station. It's just not on streaming. I'm like, oh, okay, well, gotta throw this on something. So
try to go through real. YouTube and like, bro, no, I need it. Yeah. So, last couple questions, bro. I was gonna say, so what does music mean to you, and how do you feel like it shaped your life? You know what I'm saying?
All right, so like, music to me is like, it's the backdrop to everything. Like music is something that, and music and sound, that they're tied together in my opinion. Like those two things, music and sound, they're such core principles to our life and our society. Like we use music and sound to express so much. Like, back to slave times, you look at how mothers soothe their children and stuff like that. Like music and sound are such integral parts of what we do and how we express ourselves. We show celebration through music. We show sadness through music. We show reverence through music. We use music to do and express so much, and sound to do and express so much that like it's integral, like extremely integral to society and like who we are as human beings.
Yeah, no cap. Yeah, bro. Like that's like, honestly, to me, one of the best ways someone has explained it to me, because like like you said, like it's so integrated in like our everyday life, and we don't even think about it. Like how many times do you catch yourself just humming just while you're working, or you know what I mean, or like you said, like we always like celebrations, birthdays, whatever we sing, you know what I mean. It's like, yeah, like you said, just music, sound, all of it is like woven into life. Yeah, no cap. So, last question I got for you is, what advice would you give somebody who wants to get started with vinyl? Like someone who wants to start coming through, digging for records, wants to start messing around with the turntables. Like, you know, what I mean, what advice would you give them?
Hey, I would say if you're just looking to come purchase vinyl or kind of get into it, just walk into find a vinyl store, a vinyl record shop that's close to you, pull up and just go through it. Just do it for real. Like
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it's like it's up to you to want to, but if you really want to, it only takes just showing up and asking a question or even just looking around. Like in almost every record store, you're bound to find at least one thing that you're like, oh, I know what that is.
Yeah.
Oh, I've heard that before. I know that artist. And they're sectioned off by either genre or names, anything. Like there's always going to be a way to like pick up something new. So even if you're coming in, you're just like, I just want to purchase something or I just want to experience a record store, like come in and come look at album art.
Yeah.
I used to post, an album a day on TikTok, and then I go through my TikTok after a year, and it's just album art after album art, like cover art. And I'm like, oh, this is dope. Like that's not even what I intended, but like even if you just want to experience it, come in and look at cover art and pick things up off that, and maybe come listen to a thing or two. Like that's how it starts. And as far as getting into vinyl DJing, again, same thing. Come find your local record store, and 9 times out of 10, the person that owns the store or somebody that's working there is a DJ.
Yeah.
And they've touched records before, and they'll probably let you hop on something they have in the shop or something like that, just to mess around. Like literally, just come in and talk to somebody. Usually they're pretty nice. Usually they'll let you try something out. So that's what I'd say. And just keep going, bro. Spend as much time as you can here, meeting people and trying stuff out when they let you, and buying records and listening to different genres and stuff. Just like, if you really want to get into it, just pull up to your local record store, put as much time in there doing whatever you can or whatever interests you, and you'll pick it up really quick.
Yeah, I feel like that's solid advice, bro. No cap. Like I said, it's really just showing up, man. Just pop up and search, bro. It's like same thing you would do on Spotify or SoundCloud or YouTube, you know what I mean? Just in real life. Yeah. So with that being said, man, we're finna go disperse. We're finna go look at some records. We're finna go see what we can get, man, see what we can find, and I'm gonna buy you a record, man. So let's go make it happen. Let's get to it.
That'd be crazy if I ain't shout him out. You already know what he been doing. We ain't gotta get in all that. So shit, we were just talking about Larry June too. This joint was hard. I can't lie. Just riding music, top tier riding music right here. This joint hard. Oh shit! I know they had Silk Sonic in here. Got him. All right. Oh yeah. We was talking about like formative year albums. Hey, look, I was always a Gambino over Chance fan. They hated me for this, but this right here, bro, I don't know, man. This was an era, my guy. Another one. Ramsey Lewis. He ain't as good with the trio in my opinion, but just his tapes, bro. Chef's kiss almost every time. this dude here, Al Di Meola. He makes like Latin jazz. You would look at this and be like, it may not be for me. Tough. So an example of like that album art is crazy. I wasn't really feeling this, John. I'm not gonna lie to you. I remember when I listened to it, I was really hyped to bump it. I wasn't feeling it, but the album art, you could throw this on the wall somewhere. This is cool. That's kind of tough too. Not gonna lie. That's vibes. R.I.P. You feel me? R.I.P. One of the greatest. Quincy Jones. Slide up there real quick. Let me see. Let me get in here. Oh. I think it's 1 or 2 Kanye samples on here. I'll leave that for you to find out.
Yeah.
Actually, I know it's struggle. I wish I could be there for you.
Oh, if I could talk to that.
Wizard Steve.
Nice.
Slide right here. We pull it over. Temptations. I don't think I've ever heard this before. Let me throw that on there. It might be cool. Tom Brown. He be slapping. It's all done over. Yeah. Oh man, I just copped this. This is a good album. He look a little weird, but this is a tough album. I think I copped this, but my version got some scrapes. I might come back and get this one. Jeffrey Osborne, Don't Stop. It's a good R&B album. I think it's 1990? 90 or 89, one of them, but it's a solid album. All right, so my choice for today, Fabulous by the Stylistics. 1978, as you can see right there. This was dope though. Real funk, so you know, it's Stylistics, you know what you're getting. Like a few of the other albums were they were good. One of them was like super repetitive in the sound. The other was a Herbie Mann joint. Like it was really solid, but it got repetitive towards the end again. So I was like, I can't really cop those. So I ended up being between this and the Temptations record. And I just kind of like the songs in this one a little more. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a little bit more of a Stylistics fan, at least for these two albums. So bumped it, loved it. Cover art is crazy, of course, you know. So yeah, it's my choice.